What if peace deal really meant you lose your land, but hey, at least the bombs stop? Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly why world leaders are sweating over Donald Trump's new 28-point peace proposal. French President Emmanuel Macron, the same guy who usually plays diplomat in chief, just dropped his gloves, slammed the plan as incomplete, and immediately linked arms with the so-called coalition of the willing. Yep. One minute he's criticizing Trump's homework, the next minute he's joining the group that's trying to turn it in.
Secretary General, we've always expressed our support to the American efforts to put an end to this war. And we are united in support for a just, dignified, and lasting peace for Ukraine that would preserve its sovereignty and ensure its long-term security. Any step that is taking us further down this path is a welcome step. It was particularly important in my view that Europeans and allies were also present in Geneva and able to make their views known. And decisions with implications for Europe and NATO interests need the joint support of European partners and NATO allies respectively. And we are all very clear on that. And obviously I'm not forgetting our friends from Japan, Australia, New Zealand, who are a staunch partner for Ukraine, and also share our determination to make sure that any peace deal strengthens our rule-based order and not undermine it further.
Welcome to Global Politics, folks, the world's spiciest group project. Trump's 28-point peace framework isn't just some casual diplomatic like and subscribe. It calls for Russia to keep Crimea, plus parts of Donetsk and Luhansk, land currently occupied by force. It also suggests Ukraine must limit its military and abandon the dream of ever joining NATO, basically locking it into permanent vulnerability. According to Global Reporting, the deal asks Ukraine to accept neutrality forever, like a kid forced to sit out the entire school year for a fight someone else started. If that isn't a lopsided trade, what is? Critics argue that the whole package sounds less like peace and more like a sale, where Ukraine pays the price and Vladimir Putin collects the prize. But hold up, Macron didn't just yell nope and walk away. Macron didn't torch the peace plan entirely. Instead, he said it must be rewritten to protect Ukraine's sovereignty or it doesn't fly. He stressed publicly that Europe supports a just, dignified, and lasting peace that preserves Ukraine's security and territorial integrity, not one that rewards aggression. He warned that Europe won't endorse any deal that amounts to quiet surrender dressed up in diplomatic language. According to statements at the Geneva meetings, Macron pushed the message that Ukraine needs rock-solid guarantees, not paper promises that collapse the moment Russia gets cranky. He emphasized that Europe's voice matters because any peace deal affects NATO interests directly. In short, he's ready to negotiate, but not on Russia's terms. And that's exactly where the plot gets thicker. Here's where things get spicy. Macron joined the coalition of the willing, a group backing U.S.-led talks to end the war, but only if Ukraine approves every decision. The coalition basically told Washington, "We're with you as long as you don't try to close this deal behind Ukraine's back." The coalition includes European partners in countries like Japan, Australia, and New Zealand, all insisting that diplomacy must protect the rules-based global order. They don't want a deal that lets Russia rewrite borders by force, then walk off like a gangster who just skipped paying the bill. They're saying, sure, Trump, we'll talk peace, but not peace that lets Putin come out looking like a world-winning hero. So now the whole world's watching one question closely. European leaders, including Macron, are dropping red flag warnings. Don't carve up Ukraine like a bargain price real estate deal. Officials told the coalition that accepting a peace deal that hands Russia territory could permanently destabilize Europe and encourage future invasions. They stressed that international law prohibits changing borders by force, and ignoring that would weaken every treaty on Earth, not just Ukraine's. As Macron put it, real guarantees, not promises, meaning Europe wants actual security commitments with teeth, not vague handshakes. The coalition wants a peace that defends the sovereignty of nations, not negotiates it away like a discount coupon. If Europe signs off on a weak deal, they fear the message will be loud and ugly: invasions pay. And that puts all the pressure on one front line. For Kyiv, this isn't some chess match, it's survival. Ukrainian officials know that accepting the wrong peace terms could trap the country in a permanent security nightmare. Allies warned that locking Ukraine into neutrality while rewarding Russia's invasion would leave Europe vulnerable to the next territorial gamble. Leaders from France, Germany, the UK, and Asia share the same fear. A weak deal doesn't end wars, it pauses them until the next one explodes. Ukraine insists it wants peace, but not at the cost of sovereignty, independence, or territorial integrity. If peace means letting Moscow keep stolen land, then diplomacy becomes a fancy word for surrender. Ukraine wants security guarantees, the real kind that stop tanks, not just send tweets. So what does that mean for all of us watching? This isn't just about Ukraine, it's about whether bullies get trophies. If global peace becomes a coupon code discount deal for aggressors, every country becomes fair game. So stay informed, stay loud, and don't let the future get decided in some smoky room without public pressure. Hit subscribe, drop a comment, and share this video, because when diplomacy goes quiet, power speaks for all of us. Let's keep the world honest, one headline at a time.